Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael J.
We are rolling. Hello. Go ahead.
All right, can you hear me all right?
All right, buddy. Crispin.
How you doing?
Let's just let's get this straight for the first time, the only time. Melchor or Melchor?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter.
Scoot in. Oh, you want to scoot in a little bit too, just so we
Yeah.
can be on camera?
Oh, yeah.
But what is it?
It's
man?
German Polish. So it's Melchor is like a pronunciation that's fine, but it's part like Spanish, so it's like Melchor if you want to say it like a different way. But I honestly
German
don't.
and Spanish.
It's German Polish.
German Polish.
I'm
but
neither.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well,
I just got the name.
But when people call you up, what is the most common?
Melchor.
Melchor.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Crispin Melchor.
Actually, it's Melchor up north, Melchor down south. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are
Weird.
we? We're on the east side, bro. We're
I don't
on
know
the
where
east.
we are.
I Kirkland.
I just know there was an accident that made me late, and I was annoyed.
It's a wild night here at the Whiskey Mile.
Yeah.
You had an accident on the way here.
No, I saw an accident.
You weren't in an accident. I'm
No,
just
no.
saying you were on the way. There was
you
an
ran
accident.
over a kid, maybe. I don't know.
Children may or may not have been injured,
Yeah,
folks.
there might have been a
The
bus.
Seahawks
might
are
have
playing
flipped.
tonight.
I
You
was
never know
cheering.
what's going to happen in Washington when the Seahawks are playing.
I didn't even know there was a game. Do you watch sports?
I'm not really a sports guy.
Me neither.
Which is funny because we can talk sports as non-sports guys for a minute, and it'll be funny.
Let's see.
First of all, Jordan Macias is our normal host. He's not here because he's a 49ers fan, and the
Oh.
49ers are in town playing against the Seattle Seahawks.
Is that who's on the TV right now?
That's what's going on. It's the end. We're like the last minute of the game, so we're kind of like commentators
Dude, I
right
can
now.
feel the suspense.
The
in
other
the
thing
bar.
too is we have like the Home Shopping Network in front of
I
us.
didn't see that.
So for $170, people, you could get a 5.10 carat trillion and 0.24 carat round
Tanzanite rhodium is actually getting big right now. It's a good deal.
Tanzanite rhodium over sterling silver. Oh man, how old are you, man?
I'm 32. I'll be
Okay,
33 in December.
33. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but
I'm old enough to know that's a good deal.
when I was young, they used to have the Home Shopping Network, and there was this. They used to sell Beanie Babies and like collectible coins and stuff on the Home Shopping Network. There's this guy named Don whatever, but I used to
Is it
sit.
Don Schroeder?
No.
No?
Don's. If I heard the name, I would know it, but
You're
but
like-
yeah, this guy.
I
Used
don't know
to,
what it is, but I know you're wrong.
He used to
That's
just scream like the Beanie Babies, like, "My God!"
Yeah.
You know, the Princess Di Bear. Unbelievable, folks.
Did you see the divorces that happened during Beanie Baby craze, where they're like splitting up? They're like, I want the Shamrock Beanie Baby. You can't have that one.
My mom probably still has a collection.
I
of
had a
them.
few. I thought they were fun. I busted
yeah.
those things up.
So, well, dude, you made it here. I'm glad you made it. It's not your first time here. You've been here. You were here with Tony.
Cardozo,
like
yeah.
a month and a half ago.
This was famously one of his favorite times because he felt like he bombed. I told him, you just didn't do well the last 4 minutes, but he dumped like 4 minutes of his set.
Yeah.
Because other comics had like similar material.
I
and
thought he did great.
I thought he did good.
I thought Tony's always fun. And I wish he was here. I need to ask him, like,
I was going to invite
when
him
he started, I had this experience where I was at the Shanghai room, and there was this comic wearing sunglasses, and I feel like it
So
was
you knew they
Tony.
were cool for sure.
I feel like it was Tony, and I said something. I went on stage and I was singing that I wear my sunglasses, and
Solid-
like I
solid
swear it was
song.
him, but I don't know if it was him, so I gotta ask him.
I can ask him.
Um,
So
but-
I actually have. We were talking about it the other day. The first time I ever met Tony, I hit the stage, and that was his third time I think ever doing comedy.
So when was his third time? I'm trying to let's piece this
I would have
together.
to
Timeline here.
I would have to check my phone. I know it's been over a year because
Okay.
we talked about how we just hit like a year anniversary on our friendship because we're really gay like
nice.
that. And we were
We
talking.
support the gays on this podcast.
You better.
Yeah.
God damn it. But
This is a Seattle podcast, all right?
But yeah, like we're like, holy shit, we hit our anniversary. It was pretty sweet. But then I remember the first time we met, I made fun of him for being an alcoholic because he was like, he was just talking about drinking a lot on stage, and I was like, that's fun. Like, he was really funny, and I thought he was like more seasoned. And then he was like, yeah, this is my third time ever.
Wow.
So I was like, I want to like somehow show him that he's doing good. So I was like, oh, dude, like, I can't believe you're an alcoholic. That's crazy. I have that stupid thing called self-control, so I can't do that. And that was like the first thing I ever said to him as a person. And then we got drunk at the bar after. But
speaking of that, hold on. Let me just check.
yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
Do I just sit? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to vamp. Dude, you're not going to believe this.
One of my favorite comedians just walked in the door.
Jay Markovitz.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this guy.
You look starstruck.
Yeah. I did do a show with him one time. I like to say I opened up for him one time. So
that's a pretty solid line.
Yeah, man. I've only been doing comedy less than 2 years.
Do you remember your start date?
Yeah.
What was
it? My first day was 12/22/22.
That's a lot of twos.
No, 12/12/22. That's what it was.
12/12/22.
So yeah, that was my first time on stage, and then I didn't go up again for another 3 weeks.
What happened? Why did you get like nervous?
The first set that I did, everything that I wrote was terrible.
Naturally.
Yeah, and I didn't know how to perform it. I didn't know how to talk on stage.
Did you ever have any other like any other performance things that happened in your life besides comedy?
Oh, dude, yeah, I used to be in a band.
Okay,
I used to play music for a very long time, from like the year 2000 to 2010.
So you had the stage confidence, but not the like know-it-all to do comedy.
Yeah, I mean. And if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I always wanted to be the front man, the lead singer.
Of course.
But I never knew how to sing. I never could sing. Even when I sing now, it's very questionable.
It's spiteful, almost.
But, I used to write the lyrics. I used to do the posters. A lot of what I do now in comedy it reminds me of being in a band. It's just I'm promoting myself instead of the guys that I'm with. So
if you're so like this is like a format that I took from I used to study screenwriting in college, and this is like a format that I feel like really works for comedy because every main character in a movie, they do this thing called the save the cat moment. It's from a book that a lot of people, it doesn't matter, but save the cat moment's basically like, if you want people to be invested in a character, you have to have them do something like save a cat. Because, like, imagine you're watching a movie and the guy saves a cat from a tree. You're like, well, that guy's cool. But then afterwards, he robs a bank and murders everyone. You're like, but he did save that cat.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of works with comedy, where as long as you have the three, like, components of, like, you show your home life, your work life, and, like, your like relationship life or friends, or like if you're in a relationship, like if you show those three concepts, people will automatically invest in you. So then you could do whatever you want after because they already want you to succeed. I feel like that's a fun way to build material. I don't know what you think of that. What do you think?
Dude, well, first of all, you just struck a nerve deep inside my soul because
I was trying to strike a nerve deep inside you.
I have this weird, I'm not religious. I've done, counseling and stuff I've had depression issues like that.
Yeah.
And I have developed this thing in my head, and I don't know if it's a thing or not, but my whole idea is the three points of the triangle, and that is your time for work, your time for your family and friends, and then your time for yourself. And those three things, I always have felt like if there's you're going to be unhappy if those things are out of balance. And so like before I ever did comedy, it was like things were going good at work, like have a new kid, things are all right with my wife, but I was still unhappy. Then I started doing comedy, but then, things are not so good with the relationship, or maybe things aren't so good with work.
Oh, so is it like finding a balance?
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting that you have said bringing those three things into. Is that Casey Judson over there?
You were on such a good rhythm. I was so excited to see where you were gonna go, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, ADHD. Well, we can go on that too. ADHD for a minute, but
You don't seem hyper.
But like I said, it's interesting that you said you bring up those 3 points as kind of like what you mine your material from for comedy, and it's like I kind of think of those 3 points as like everything, everything that builds oneself. You know, one's being is those.
What you're saying makes sense. So like the way I always like I told my friends like how I want to live is like I got either you have to have like the 3 components. I think they're exactly what you said because this is like how I define my balance. It's like you got to either love yourself, love what you do, or love who you're with. And if you have all 3 of those things, you'll be happy. And I think that's exactly what you're saying. And I think that some people don't realize that like if there's a misbalance in it, it doesn't throw off the other 2, but it shows you like okay, I can do better in this area. So now I can, like, if I have anxiety, I know that it's coming from that specific area, and I can work on that or figure out how to take that out of, like, my life. And I think that's one of the things I see with people is where, like, you know, they say, like, when you're anxious about something, try to turn it into, like, anxiety is just another form of excitement. So don't be like, I'm anxious about it. Be like, no, I'm excited, and I don't know how to put that energy towards it yet. But I will.
I'll tell you this, man. Like, I never really had a problem with anxiety.
Yeah.
I've had people that, even my wife and stuff like that, have taken medication for it. But
cheering for the Seahawks over there.
Instantly, like going on stage, especially in the beginning, so much anxiety. And it's almost as if like I just wanted to push myself towards that. Like I was excited to feel just anything, I guess. For me, I started after COVID. So, like, when you were when did you start comedy? What was it?
January 11th, 2021.
Okay, so after COVID as well. So
yeah.
I'm sure you might have been feeling the same thing. Like, you want to do something and just, you know, it's this weird thing, like, to want to be around people as well. Like,
I'll be honest, COVID for me was amazing.
Really?
I lost weight. I started reading books.
You lost weight?
That's when I lost the 70 pounds.
70?
Yeah, I used to weigh like 230.
Wow.
That was before I moved here.
Moved here? So how long? Where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
Texas, dude.
I think I'm so southernly charming.
What part of Texas?
San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
home of Shawn Michaels
and the Alamo.
Former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Yes, the Alamo.
It was what you didn't forget before 9/11.
No, there was a not don't forget. There was like an actual saying about
Remember the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo. Yes.
I like that you asked it like I wouldn't know it. Dude, of course I know. I grew up. I fucking toured in that place.
I never been to Texas. I'm gonna go one day.
You'd love it.
My wife used to date a guy from San Antonio, and so
I feel like there was some malice in that.
She told me about like there's like a river walk in the middle of town. It's nice.
If you ever want to go, if you just tell me, I'll tell you because I visit my family every couple of months.
Yeah.
I will line it up for you to visit, and I'll show you around. I can show you the best. Dude, if it looks like a house and it's actually a restaurant, tacos are going to be great.
Well, I tell you what, man. I want to go to Buc-ee's.
Dude, Buc-ee's is the greatest place ever made.
I've seen videos, man. I'm just like,
dude, the videos don't compare. They have like home brewed fudge. They have tacos, burritos. They have shirts. Anything you can think of that you're like, I don't need this, but fuck, I want it. It's at Buc-ee's.
It's like to me, Texas just feels like it feels like not Disneyland. That's not the way to put it, but it just feels like kind of a playground for Americans. You know, like it's just like Florida.
Yeah.
I've never been to Florida as well. But,
I've never been. Oh, I have been.
No hurricanes in Texas. So,
no, none.
You know, I know they get a lot of heat. A lot of bad heat.
110
some
degrees.
Snakes.
Oh, I threw a rattlesnake on my boss one time, and he was pissed.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, we had snakes in Northern California, but, like, never really anything bad. Just, like, garden snakes, things like that.
Well, I think one of the things that's hard to explain is, like, Texas is so big that, like, if you go to one area, you're going to experience a different thing. If you go to another area, you'll experience a different group of people. But one thing that's consistent throughout the whole state is manners and respect. Like, it's so crazy because people in Texas are like, they're so honest that you can never feel like you can never feel like they don't feel exactly how they're going to say. So, like, if they don't like you, like, anybody from Texas will be like, I don't enjoy your company, but good morning, and I hope you have a good day.
Yeah,
And it's like there's no passive aggressiveness. It's straightforward honesty. So, like, that's been kind of the hardest thing about moving to Washington. No offense to anybody here if this is offensive, but there's a lot of passive aggression.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I didn't understand it at first. So when people will be like, well, if you're not going to do it, I guess I'll just do it myself. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go do something else. And then I would just leave. And then they'd be pissed off later.
It's funny how you say, like, Texas is so big. It's, like, so many different. You just, just depends on what part of the state. It's totally different. It's the same thing with California. Like, I've met so many people up here where they're like, oh, I'm from California, but it's usually Southern California.
What's Southern California like?
Southern California is a lot of buildings. A lot of buildings,
They're
a
like
lot of
city
streets.
folks?
Yes. I mean, like, L.A. is just warehouses and apartments and stores. Like, it's just... Like, the one thing I noticed coming up here, like, I'm from Sacramento. So Sacramento is a little bit different. Like, it's a small city. We have the American River, the Sacramento River. So, there's, like, a lot of, it was where the gold rush was started. Yeah. So, like, a lot of that.
It's where the gold diggers stayed.
Yeah. I mean, there's, like, a lot of, it's gold country. So there's a lot of, like, dry mountains and things like that.
Yeah.
And then, Sacramento they call themselves the city of trees.
Wait, hold on. The city of trees?
The city of trees. Well, I don't know if towns have, I
love mottos.
Bothell has a motto that's like, come for a day, stay for a lifetime, or something weird like that. And so
I would love in New York. It's like city of windows.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
The Big Apple.
We kill a lot of birds, but goddamn, these windows are beautiful.
So I was from this place called Woodland, California. That's where I grew up. It's about 30 minutes north of Sacramento. They used to be the original city of trees. And then Sacramento stole the slogan.
Goddamn
and
right.
they became the city of trees. And then
I love
they
these.
rebranded to the farm to fork capital of the world.
So what was the slogan of the old place when they got?
I don't even know.
Nobody cares. That's why they don't deserve a slogan.
We used to be ghetto. I don't know.
We used to have a slogan.
Yeah. It's a very it's its own place, man. Surrounding Sacramento is there's little towns here and there, little kind of.
Is it just like places you pass through on the way to other places?
Yeah, but there's a lot of farming. Like, a lot of agriculture comes out of that area. So, like, onions, tomatoes, almonds, oranges, like, all that stuff.
I will be honest, I love farmers, dude. Like, I know they get a lot of shit, but, like, they're the funnest people to be around because they understand patience, because they have to, like, slowly watch things grow. So if you say anything around them that's bad, or if you act a fool around them, they're like, you'll be better than this in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And they throw some water on you. It's great.
But, I mean, coming up here, I've been up here since 2019.
What made you move here?
Is
it the weather?
A lot of different ideas. The longer you think about it, the more reasons you come up with why you decided to move. But I guess the big thing for me was I just didn't want to, just like doing comedy, I didn't want to think like, what if, I just wanted to be like, what would life be like if I moved somewhere else? What would life be like if I tried this out, And it's like, I just was so frustrated. I mean, growing up where I was not in the same town, but, it was pretty nearby. Like,
did you feel like you had outgrown where you were?
Yeah.
Okay,
and I just wanted to experience a different place. I went back and forth to Oregon when I was a kid for short periods of time. So I knew even then, like, the difference between states, the people are different. And
how do you like the people here? What's your opinion?
Yeah. Not my favorite. My favorite.
I love that. I love you're such a good person. You're like that. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know.
The comedians are great.
Of course.
I think it's the fact that we're all. I've found that a lot of comedians are antisocial a little bit, and it's like we're all antisocial together. Like we feel like we're all misfits of the same, island or whatever. Like.
It's kind of like Australia.
Yeah. New Zealand, you know. Comedy Hobbit.
We're all
Shout
criminals.
out.
It's fine.
There's a guy named the Comedy Hobbit. I don't know if you know him, but
I haven't seen him.
he's up in Seattle.
It's definitely different. Yeah.
2021, it looks like you're having a lot of fun out there, man. You're doing a lot of shows.
Oh, dude, I'm having a blast.
With my boy Adam Tiller.
Oh, yeah, I got a show with him next month, I think.
Comedy Voice, how did that go?
Man, I was fucking petrified. So
what week was this past week or?
I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think I had my audition. I was actually on with Tony.
Okay.
With Cardoza, and man, we were really trying to talk. So if anybody's doing a comedy competition, I got this advice years ago.
Good, because I have one coming up on Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is what we had talked about. Is when you're doing a competition, people always think, well, I got to save my great stuff for the end in case if I make it. But the problem with that is if you don't do your best stuff in the beginning, you're not going to make it to round 2.
Yeah.
So you got to do your best. It's only 3 minutes, which is already hard.
Yeah.
You got to do your best 3 minutes first just to make it to round 2. And don't worry about saving material because you just want to be in the competition. Mm-hmm. So do your best shit. Get laughs, make the judges laugh. The thing too is it's a local competition, so everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
So you really got to know that there's people who are going to make it no matter if they do good or if they do bad. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because part of anything you do is networking and having an emotional intelligence to understand how to get forward, not just with what you do, but how you conduct yourself. And so when me and Tony did the competition, he saved material for another round.
Ooh.
And then it kind of messed with his head and he was super nervous.
Yeah.
And so I know how funny Tony is, and I wish that we would have talked about it before. So that's why I'm glad we're talking about it now with you because I want you to make it to the next round. So do your best fucking material. And if you're nervous, that's fine as long as you put it towards excitement of your material and bring energy to the stage because it's 3 minutes. That's not a lot of time to make a good impression.
No, I do a lot of 3-minute sets at Club Comedy over in Seattle.
How does that go? I don't really go there often.
So, what can I say? The room itself, very similar to Sixth and Proctor Tacoma Comedy Club. As far as the size.
Yeah. I've performed there before.
Not as much echo, because Tacoma's got the brick wall. This is more, dampened, sound dampened, very nice, carpets and stuff like that. They usually always have people there paying customers.
Well, they pay $7. That's pretty good.
Anywhere from 6 to 10 people on a regular basis, sometimes more. But it's Seattle. It's I have had some jokes that go perfect in Tacoma, that go fine here, the bomb in Seattle.
It's kind of strange, and
in Seattle, I could do goofy stuff. I could do stuff that not necessarily, not necessarily
it's theatrical.
Not woke stuff or anything like that, but just anything that's just kind of silly and goofy.
Is it more a theatrical, a Modern Family style of comedy where it's very robust?
No, because everybody's different. Everybody. And I'll tell you, for example, this past one, Jay was there this past couple of days.
The guy you opened for?
No. Yeah, I did open for him. Exactly. Everybody had a bad night that night. And they usually do 30 comics on a bucket night. So, Adam Tiller and, all these other people.
Why do you think it was a bad night?
These big names. I think it was hard to just connect with the audience, really. And then I went up number 29 of 33 or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I feel like I got something out of them. I usually always get laughs there. And it's because I'm maybe it's that whole 3-minute thing that you're talking about. I know that I don't have any time. I just got to just go right into it and just, and try to get them. But it's a fun room, and I've been there once on a Wednesday. So what they do for Wednesdays is you email Tuesday to try and get a spot on Wednesday, and then they release the lineup on Wednesday morning. And
I have them added on. So I have a little thing on my calendar, so it shows all the mics and when to sign up. and that one's on my calendar. I saw it.
And more likely you're going to get a fuller room. So, but yeah, no, going back to Tacoma, man. So you went up there, you did your material, Tony, all the way, and also I got to say, Tony and Ron White are the only two people that can make infidelity funny. and because people, that's not really that's a pretty sensitive subject for some people.
Well, I think that if you're just honest about yourself, like if you've like obviously committed infidelity, if you're just honest about like, yeah, I did it. Like I'm like, what do you want me to be sorry about it? No, I wanted to do it. I think that's with anything you say on stage, especially with like the audience, is I think sometimes what kind of ruins some people's like sets is like they don't want to acknowledge the fact that like, yeah, you're kind of fucked up. Like, it's cool. Like, you're crazy. Like, yeah, that was a bad decision, and that's okay. Like, it's not like everybody that's in the audience has ever made every decision in their life and been like, that went exactly how I wanted it to. You know, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that comes across with, like Tony and a couple other, even, like, I don't know if you've seen Hagen Murphy. One of the things that's great about their material is that even if you don't, like, relate and even if you don't, like, see it as genuinely funny, you'll always see honesty, and I think that's like the most important thing with comedy is being honest, which is hard to do because that dog is pissed.
Well, yeah. Well, this is a dog-friendly facility here. If you want to do comedy with your dog, you know, sometimes the dogs get more laughs than the comics, you know, depending on who's on stage.
Oh, my God. I fucking believe it. Last time I was here, I don't want to point it out too much, but there was a person who annoyed everybody in the room automatically, and I was like, God, I want to.
Oh yeah.
It ruined my eardrums. I was pissed.
Oh, was it the whistle?
Well, I was trying not to point out the guy.
Oh no, no.
I'm sure he's a nice person.
No, yeah. He's he's an interesting person. He'd be a good person to get on the podcast, but
you are the opposite of me because I'm like, I want to push you as far away from me as I can get you.
He's No, I'll tell you after about him. He's
some behind the scenes cheese.
You know what's funny though is I saw him at Tony V's one week and he did great. He did just like a great set. People laughed and I'm just like, how come every time you come here you do terrible?
Well, that's why he's here to test out the stuff to see what
I
works
guess.
to do it in other places.
I guess
everybody's got their dump zone. Like, it doesn't say anything about the room, but like you got to have a place where you go where you just do like, this is probably not going to work, but I need to do it somewhere.
Well, I mean, and I was talking to somebody earlier, some random bar patron over there that I was like, that's this place, like
some vagrant.
Every, a week after week, depending on the turnout, like it could be anywhere from 5 to 10 comics to 40 people in here.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the nights when there's not that many people, it could feel pretty rough, trying to do comedy. But it's nice to have a place that, like, I could literally just say whatever and nobody, like.
There's no judgment.
If it doesn't go over, it doesn't go over,
Yeah.
Like, I've heard it, like when I've done jokes at Comedy Bar and I've said stuff, I've heard people in the audience go, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that was
leave some oxygen for the rest of us.
That was not a good one for this place. You know? So, it's nice to have a place that you could try things out.
Yeah.
I get nervous, and I think a lot of people get nervous about trying stuff out at the clubs. Unless you work there. The guys that work there are just like, who cares?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, that's the benefit of like contributing your time and your energy into a place where you can like get something back. It's always good to work at a club if you can, I think, because then you get that comfortability knowing that no matter what you say or do, you'll always get back on stage because you fucking work there.
Yeah.
It's like shitting in your own house. Like, you can pick it up later. But I don't know. I think that it's good that you're trying like hard material in rooms where you're going to get gassed because that just shows that like, if you can get them to laugh at it, then it's going to be fucking amazing. Because what's better than something like when you laugh at something that you're not supposed to laugh at? Like, when you see like a kid fall and you're like, fuck, I know they got hurt a little bit, but goddamn, that kid fell pretty funny.
Oh, man. I have a kid at home that falls all the time.
You have a kid?
Man. Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
No, just one.
And you have a wife. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, so my kid
and
is...
sunglasses.
I've talked about it a little bit. So she's officially just recently diagnosed with combined ADHD, which is like two different forms. So there's like ADHD that affects your motor skills and like you can't control yourself. And then there's also the emotional, social aspect of it. She's got both. She also has, she tested on some categories on the spectrum for autism, but we're not really, her psychologist that we did all this. And it's been a long thing, man. It's,
they take a long road to figure out what's going on.
Bottom line is she's a good kid.
Yeah.
She just has a hard time controlling herself sometimes.
Yeah.
Like hitting and, all that, and reacting to things. And yeah, I mean, I never wanted to be a dad. Like, it's like, I got married when I was, 33 or whatever, 30, 33.
How old are you now?
30. I got 30. I'm 39. I just turned 39.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I don't know why that's good to, but
it's not.
Yeah, no. And this circles back to what you asked. Why did I move up here? So when me and my wife got married, we decided to have our honeymoon in Seattle.
Yeah.
Stupidly, I was like, as a kid, I always loved like the music of Seattle, grunge.
I don't
and
think
all
that's
that
stupid.
Kind of
That sounds nice.
I wanted to go as an adult. I went as a kid. Like my dad took me, like he was like a truck driver, but I never got to experience like the Space Needle or Pike Place or anything like that. So we did that. We really like being up here, and then we were at the point where we wanted to make that life choice and like, let's move, like we have this kid now, like we don't want her to go to the same schools that we went to.
Yeah.
Let's try and find somewhere that's kind of more, I don't know, accommodating for whatever, like.
Yeah. Well, you want your kid to grow up in an environment where they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, man, Northern California, although it is California, can still be pretty closed-minded, like.
Well, some places are just a hassle.
Sacramento, the black people are kind of segregated to one area, we call that Oak Park. But, oh, is that Nick Cody over there? Wow. Hey, welcome.
Hey, Nick.
Nick Cody. You might know him from the Tapped Out shows.
Yeah, I've done.
Well, I got a mic ready if you want,
I've done his show before.
You did a show with Nick?
Yeah.
Which show?
Tapped Out.
Tapped Out
Yeah.
at Peace of Mind Brewing?
No, so that was one of them was at Shanghai. I did it there.
So you did the Shanghai Tapped Out.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It wasn't bad. It was kind of like a very like small crowd, but they were attentive, and that's great when it's just a few people.
Shanghai Room, man. I've been there so many times. I don't go there very often anymore just because everybody tells me, like, oh, dude, you should come out on a Friday, come out on a Saturday. There's been so many people. And then I show up and nobody's there.
Of course, they're
And
lying
I'm like,
to you.
Why?
People lie. They just want to hype up things they do to make it seem like positive, and it's not. I don't think Shanghai Room is a bad room,
No,
but like it's hard to.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's hard to get people out on a weekend to an open mic where like they don't know what to expect.
It's comedy's weird, man. Where are your favorite places to do mics and stuff like that?
I don't know. It's kind of so. A couple of months ago, last October, I moved to a new area in Tacoma, so that I could be near both comedy clubs. So like I'm like less than 10 minutes from both clubs.
So wait a minute, just to rewind. Did you move here in 2021?
I moved here in September 16th of 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
So you moved here in 2020, and how long? It was about 6 months or so, I guess, until you like started thinking about comedy, or?
Yeah, it was like it was like the first couple of months I was here. Oh, you know what? Actually, maybe I started because I'm about to hit my third year. I think I started in 2021 of January 11th. So I think it might have been. Excuse me. It was like a year and some change I was here. Just kind of like getting my shit together.
Yeah.
And then I decided to do comedy in January, but I went and like I scoped out a bunch of open mics. And then I finally was like, all right, I got to write, 4 minutes. That seems to be the average. And as soon as I finished up 4 minutes.
There's a dog here. The first dog on the podcast.
It's an awesome dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up writing like 4 minutes of material. And the it was at Super Funny Comedy Club with Nate Jackson.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And he was like, hey, the show canceled tonight, so anybody who signed up is going up tonight, and I'm not going to give you a time limit. You just keep going until I light you. And so I ended up doing like 7 minutes.
Nice.
And it didn't go bad.
Yeah.
But I also think people were being supportive because they knew that I was new.
Yeah. It's cool, man. Mr. Nate Jackson. Shout out to him.
Sorry, you were asking about where I usually
Yeah.
go. So I moved to Tacoma from Federal Way because I wanted to be closer to the clubs.
Yeah.
So now Monday through Thursday, I just go to the open mics at Tacoma Comedy Club.
Okay.
And I'll bucket it.
Training in the bucket.
Yeah. And I've noticed I started getting more spots, I think, because of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. It might just be a coincidence. But I'm hoping that they see my name consistent enough that I get more spots there. Because I think there's a difference between, like, if you're doing comedy, like, everybody's got to start off with, like, the bar shows and, like, the rooms where, like, no one even knows there's a show.
Yeah. It's
where they're like, why is this
dues,
asshole on the stage talking?
Yeah.
But I think that eventually, if you want to, like, succeed, like, you got to figure out how to be, like, a club comic a little bit.
Yeah.
So that way you know that you can go and do a comedy club and, like, get paid and do material that, like, the crowd can relate to.
Oh, shit. Oh, another guest is joining the podcast.
All the way through his hair back.
Return guest. Go ahead and flip that switch on.
There we go.
Oh, there he is, Nick
It's
Cody.
on this time and live. How's it going, fellas?
Well, Crispin here, he on the way here, there was a car accident, so he got here a little bit late.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff is here, everybody. The podcast, the mic, everything is happening. We don't have a lot of time. We're probably going to have to wrap this up in about 10 or 15 minutes.
It's 8:52.
You know, 8, yeah.
I double
Well,
checked.
as they say with most Whiskey Mile mics, it's not too late. It's never too late. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That's
That's
not your
3
lyric.
days
Yeah,
grace,
there you
isn't
go.
it? Wow.
There you go.
It's about the same, right?
Close enough.
You know, I'm here without you. Oh, wait, that's 3 doors down. First of hold on. The name Crispin, what a great name, man. First of all, do you know Crispin Glover?
Yeah, of
the
course.
actor?
Back to the
Yes.
Future.
Yeah.
He also
Get
ripped
your
hair.
damn hands off
He
her,
ripped out
man.
Drew Barrymore's hair in Charlie's Angels, too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Looked like it smelled delicious.
Crispin Glover, man, what an eccentric man, eccentric actor. He made a movie where every actor in the movie had Down syndrome. It's not available anywhere. Like, you have to, like...
You got to find it on VHS,
No,
dude.
he, like, tours the country showing this movie.
Oh, this was recent?
No, this is, like, he filmed it in the 90s, and he goes around.
Yeah, like when he was kicked out from the Back of the Future sequel.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
basically, he made Love on the Spectrum before it was on
Oh, yeah,
Netflix,
yeah.
dude. I love it.
It's probably like, Love Island on the spectrum. I don't know.
Well, what I remember about Crispin Glover is 2 things. Wasn't he the guy in Hot Tub Time Machine?
Oh, yeah.
Who lost the
He lost
fucking
his arm.
Yeah.
But they never could
Great
figure
role.
out how or when.
And the tease every single time. That is comedy right there.
Oh,
you
my
know
God.
something is coming, and they just take it away from you every time until finally it happens. And then the other thing I remember, like, when I was, like, teenager, college years, there was that fan casting of everybody wanted Crispin Glover as the Joker. And then when they casted Heath Ledger, people were like, oh, fuck Heath Ledger, get Crispin Glover. And I look back at that now, and I'm like, there are friends that I'm like, I keep an eye on. I'm like, I remember you. You thought Crispin Glover would be a better Joker than Heath Ledger.
I could never imagine Crispin Glover
Yeah.
as the Joker. I didn't know that was like a thing that happened.
There's some fan art out there from back in the day,
I like,
too.
I'm gonna
I like
look it
the
up
idea
later.
of Willem Dafoe, but, it'll never happen.
Well, he could go good in anything, dude.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's the fucking
Yeah.
best. Dude, Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
He somehow played the Goblin twice in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I know. I'm excited. I think he's in the Nosferatu movie coming out.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
think
great,
so.
dude. Have
I'm
you
a
seen
big fan of Robert Eggers. He did The Witch and he
Mhm.
did
The Witch.
the Lighthouse.
Yeah,
Right.
the Lighthouse is a trip, man.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Nosferatu's
haven't
in the
watched the
basement.
show, but I've watched the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
The show's pretty good because they called him Peter.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, this is Peter. And it's like Nosferatu, and
Yeah.
he's just like in the crypt. And they're like, he's a good guy. He came to me in the night with his bat wings, and he's like, you're going to live forever. And I was like, I don't want to. And he's like, and then he bit me.
Man, you just reminded me. Halloween coming up.
Dude, I'm so
Oh.
excited. I got
So-
my costume.
What is it? What is the
The lion from what's that fucking Wizard of Oz?
the lion from the
Yeah.
Cowardly Lion?
Somebody else picked it for me.
Holy cow!
Yeah. and I was like,
the
I got
beard,
it.
It goes great with the beard, though.
So I wanted to
love it.
paint my face gold, and then someone was like, "You're gonna look like an ugly piece of shit, and I don't want to be around you if you do that." And I was like, "Jesus, dude!" I was just trying to put some color in my life.
Are you? What's your plans for Halloween?
So I have a couple of friends who are doing like little get-togethers, but mostly just carving pumpkins. You know, I want to go to at least one party. You know, it's the
Yeah.
holidays. I want to have fun. But
There's some comedy shows going on. I know Doris has a show going on.
oh yeah, the gory giggles.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I kind of miss having a house though because I
Yeah.
love handing out candy. Like
Oh,
it's so,
dude,
dude,
yeah.
seeing kids having fun. I'm like, dude, enjoy it while it lasts. But yeah, I can't do that in an apartment.
You dressing up this Halloween, Nick?
I don't know what I'm doing Halloween night. I know
He's going to be at Just Chill.
I'll
in
be
Linwood.
That is the usual fallback. I might not be doing anything. I am hosting, I believe, a show for Young Vigilante the night before.
Oh, yeah. There you
I
go.
might be dressed as Big Gay Mike for that for the third year in a
Nice.
row.
Big Gay Mike?
Big Gay Mike. I know there's a lot of them in Seattle.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
It's his it's Michael Myers.
Oh, yeah,
but,
that too.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was
Sorry.
Big Gay Al, like from South
no.
Park. I was
No,
like,
no.
oh.
No, but I was also just going to throw a Big Gay open mic, so same
Oh,
difference.
that's the Shanghai room of Sunday nights.
that's a lot. Like I
Queers
said,
to the front, baby.
there's a lot of places.
Yeah,
but-
no. I'm gonna be a
They
a
need to have a-
Ghostbuster.
Ah.
I'm gonna be because my kid has a Ghostbuster outfit and proton pack and all that.
Dude,
so.
did you see that? So on the Oculus, you know, the fucking 3D thing, they have Ghostbusters now. They're making a game where you
Oh.
can be an actual Ghostbuster with a team.
I know they have some. I knew they had some 3D game out, but I don't know if they had a new one that they're
Dude,
making. Yeah.
it looks amazing.
Yeah.
You get your own, like, you have your pack, you have, like, the controls, you have
Yeah.
to, like, grab everything, but you have to, like, go in with a team and, like, figure out how to bust these ghosts, dude.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
I remember the one video game that was like an extra movie that was like better than any of the sequels I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh
vi-
yeah,
like,
that was
was
that,
it.
that was
it
the-
like GameCube era?
It was Xbox like
X-
360.
yeah.
Like I had the game back
Yeah.
then, and you know, there's this huge trend now. We don't even have not long enough time, but they're remaking games now. Like
I like
don't
it.
even come out with new games. Let's just remake.
I
the
don't
old-
want new games. I want the old stuff I
Yeah.
like. Bring it back.
Well, I like when they change it at least. Like they
Yeah.
do it like when they did the Resident Evil ones. They
Yeah.
remade those. Those were great. But
Well, it's like redating an ex you used to hook up with. You're like, I remember how fun this was.
Yeah.
This is nice.
well, if it was a good one, you know.
Yeah, I'll pay $69.99 for
Yeah.
this again.
You hear it, folks. Crispin is willing to buy another version of Skyrim.
Dude, I'm about to
That's
buy
scary.
another version of Fallout 4, dude. Or
Oh.
Fallout Vegas, but they remake Fallout Vegas for PS5. Sold.
Well, they probably will. At least like to digital download or something. They'll probably.
No, I like a hard, solid disc
Yeah.
in my hand, you know?
Shit.
Dude, my backlog for video games is too stupid right now. Like I'm too intimidated when I even turn on my Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, whatever the hell
Yeah.
they call it now.
What do you have?
Series X?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird games coming out.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the last game you bought?
Geez, probably. Well, the college football, and the new college football game is probably the last.
Was it good?
one. I mean, yeah. Anybody that's. I was in 5 of the games, so like I'm kind of like my opinion doesn't matter. It's
Why not?
It's biased.
No, it's not biased. It's just your
Oh,
opinion.
it's biased, dude. They years later they settled and like sent me like a $3,000 check. Like I'm biased. I'm paid off.
I will say whatever I have to for this $3,000.
Whoa! Who's taking pictures here?
EA Sports. I'm in the game.
Whoa!
I love that you name your price on a podcast. You're like, hey, anything happens, anybody gets murdered,
Oh,
$3,000, I'm out.
That's not that was the going price when they settled, and that was years later, man. And then the funny thing is I spent most of
Look at
that.
that! Oh my God, we have
Oh, we got
We
a
have
crowd
the-
now.
all 4 bad boys of comedy all
Finally.
together. The Mount Rushmore of bad boys.
A good reason to end
Holy
this podcast
cow.
and get the open mic going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do got to get started.
We are
going
gonna
to
get this thing ended. We're gonna end this thing. Just before, you know, and Crispin, you know, he had a unfortunate late because of the traffic here.
Yeah, you said
shows.
that.
You got to promote some shows. I'm gonna be posting this next week. You got some shows coming up.
Let me check my calendar.
Okay,
I never
you
remember.
check his calendar. Nick, go ahead.
You check your calendar while I cut this promo for all the fans, all the Stephen Holics out there. Listen, if you are interested, next Saturday, I will be at the Tapped Out Comedy Show.
Peace of Mind Brewing, Linwood, Washington. Be there. Tapped Out Comedy. Add it on Instagram.
Hosted by Big Time Mel.
Big Time Mel. There's going to be a lot of good friends there. We're going to do some, it's going to be some fun. I'm not going to be there, but there's going to be some fun stuff there. Nick is always producing these fun, awesome events. There's going to be a raffle.
Raffle items.
Halloween,
Yep,
spooky.
yep.
He might be wearing a costume. You never know.
Big Gay Mike might show up. Never know.
He
Crispin.
might show up. All right, so all I got going on is I have the competition
So
coming up at the end of the month, and then I have the show with Adam Tiller
okay,
November 7th.
Adam Tiller and
then the Tacoma Comedy Club round 2.
yeah, and then he's made it through the first round of the
Terrifying.
Comedy Voice. We'll see what
Yeah, thank you.
happens, whether I get through or not.
I hope
happy
you get
to
through.
I'm just happy to be down there and be part of it, and yeah, I don't know, man. I got nothing.
If we've got to give a double blowjob to somebody, you let me know the target. I'm with you, brother.
Oh, here, one last thing to close it out.
If you do it in costume, it's fine. It doesn't count.
If you had to be one comedian from your area for Halloween, who would it be?
Give me a second.
Hmm.
Says Seattle. You know?
Oh, wait, so mine has to be in Tacoma?
Yeah, if you could just dress like any comedian.
J Money.
J Money. Oh, dude.
I'll be out there fucking punching
Jay-
tennis balls, dude.
J Money. I want to be Stephen Ryan for Halloween, baby. Get some
Dude, you
gold
got to
chain.
get some heavy swagger in
I
your
gotta
heart.
get a gold chain, some curly hair, some like
You got to
matching.
get 15 times cooler,
and
dude.
I gotta
Steven
get
Ryan's
thinner.
the coolest
I gotta
comic.
like not eat for a week.
Why?
Yeah,
oh,
he is,
my God.
He's cool, man. Cool dude. Yeah.
Do former Seattle comedians count?
Yeah.
I gotta go with this motherfucker Joey Diaz. I'd have to cut my hair
Yeah.
short, let my nuts hang.
He's
in
not
the
even
lower,
allowed
but
back
I'd
in the
fucking
state,
fuck
dude. If you
Diaz.
dress like him, you'd get arrested.
And get kicked out of Seattle even more. Fuck yeah, bro! I fucking do that. I do that for you, Joe Rogan.
Oh shit. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap this up because we got the one and only Jay Marks here, and we can't let him. We can't keep him waiting. You know.
Actually, I'm gonna change my answer. I'd be J Marks.
Yes.
because I wouldn't have to cut my hair.
Yeah. There you go.
I just have to lose a fucking lot
Yeah.
of weight.
Give massages. All right, guys. Comedy Simp. Follow at Crispin
Crispin Melchor Comedy.
and Nick R. Cody.
You said it.
Stephen MJ Comedy. All right, we're good.
Thanks,
I'm going to pee, and then we're going to get this thing started. What's up, guys? Stephen Michael James.
Oh my God!
Your favorite comedian here, the host with the most, Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. I'm here in my house right now. I bet you're wondering, why? Why is Stephen looking at me right now? Well, here is the deal. That podcast that we did with Crispin was only about 45 minutes. I was hosting the open mic, and we had to cut it short. So I feel guilty not giving you guys enough content. So this is what we're going to do. We have a segment that we like to call Listener Mail. That's right. I reached out to you, the listeners. As always, you guys could email me at stephenmjcomedy@gmail.com. But now we're gonna go over some questions and see what you guys have to say. So I haven't really looked through these yet, so we may or may not go through all of them. But let's check it out. So, all right, the first question comes from Mark. Mark says, "Hi, Stephen. I've always been a bit awkward in the dating scene, and it often leads to embarrassing moments that leave me feeling rejected. I know confidence is key, but I struggle with how to approach someone I'm interested in without coming off as goofy or insincere. What advice do you have for building confidence and making a genuine connection?" Mark. Well, Mark, thanks for sending that. Yeah, I haven't dated in a very long time. It's a different world.
I have been with my wife since 2012, so we're talking long time. 15 years almost. It's been a while. And then even before that, I wasn't really a dater. The girls that I was with, it was usually long term. There was one or two that was short term, and it just wasn't for me. As far as confidence and all that kind of stuff, here's what I think, just being around women recently. I mean, well, I'm being around women a lot since doing comedy. Do not go into anything with intention. That's what I think. The only intention is to be nice, be friendly. Don't even try to be friends with the person. Just be a nice person. Just be genuine and respectful. Most women are not looking for a hookup, and most women, or just people in general, most people are not looking for that. And if they are, it's not going to be to just some random person they don't know. So be nice, be genuine, be a good person. That's all I could say about that. Let's move on to the next question, huh? Let's see. I don't know, like this one. Samantha. Hey, Steven. Lately, I've been finding it difficult to see the fun side of life, especially when things don't go as planned. I have this tendency to get caught up in the negatives, and it feels like I miss out on laughter and joy. How do you cope with life's disappointments and still find humor in everyday situations? Thank you, Samantha. Well, that's a very interesting question. That's very... I don't know. You're really just, I can't think of what to say properly right now, but what I'm thinking, what's in my brain is, before I did comedy, I was struggling with that quite a bit. I mean, I used to play music when I was a kid for like 10 years, from early high school till my mid-20s, played in bands, and we had this thing where we practiced every weekend. We played shows. We recorded songs. We wrote songs. And it was everything to me. And when I stopped doing that, I kept trying to find all these other little things that would make me happy. And to that extent, like marriage and having a kid and bills, life situations get in the way, and they do make things very difficult. And I would say even before I started comedy, like that past, couple years was the worst time in my life. And it's because I didn't have anything. And I think a lot of people, when they get older, and they start to, well, not necessarily just be depressed, but the people who age really fast and get sick, it's because they're not happy. It's because they don't have something to live for, whether that's a person, a grandchild, a hobby, a job, a career, whatever. When people stop being passionate about something, that's when things end up being the way they are for you. So I think just find. And it's incredibly easier said than done, but I just say find the thing that you love and put as much effort into it as you can. That's all I could say about that. Let's see what else we got here. I don't know about this one. Hi, Megan. Okay, Megan. Hi, Steven. For years, I've pressured myself to be perfect in everything I do, and it's been extremely tiring. I want to shift my mindset to be more accepting of my flaws and mistakes. How can I learn to laugh at myself and take life a little less seriously without falling into the trap of self-criticism? Well, a lot of us are very self-criticizing, especially comedians. I mean, I don't think you can be good at anything if you don't constantly criticize yourself and challenge yourself. I used to be a lot more free and just kind of go with the flow when I was younger. And then somewhere along the lines, somewhere along the time, whatever, I got a little more rigid in what I wanted to do, and I got more. I just didn't want. I wanted control, basically. I wanted to be in control of my life, control of everything, and whenever you had to deviate from what the plan was, it's so. Even today, I struggle with it. It's incredibly stressful. And then to be with a partner who's the complete opposite, who's just who cares about. I don't even want to get into that. Let's just move on. Let's just say this. Nothing will ever be perfect. It'll never be perfect. So, I don't know, man. Just, Megan, woman, whatever you identify as, just know that if it feels good, like once you're done, then let it out there. Because if you constantly waiting for perfection, you're going to be waiting forever. All right. Let's see. Got a couple more. How about a dude? Paul. Hey, Steven. I love telling one-liners and getting a laugh. But sometimes I worry that I might be overdoing it or coming off as annoying to my friends. It's hard to know when the right moment is to drop a quick joke without killing the mood. What tips do you have for timing and knowing when to share a punchline? Well, number one tip, Paul, don't tell jokes at work. Because, I tried that recently. I've been at this job for a few months. Couple guys, younger guys, group of guys. They were working on a little thing next to me, and I casually always like to drop hints that I'm a comedian. Maybe it's for my ego. Maybe it's just because I want somebody to talk to me. But, I tried dropping one of my famous jokes, and I got complete silence. So don't tell them at work. Don't really tell jokes in serious situations unless it's around somebody that you're comfortable with, somebody who's comfortable with you. Oh, my dog just jumped up. Learn to read the room, and that's just, I don't know how old you are, Paul, but with a name like Paul, I don't think you're a young man. I think you must be a lot older. There aren't any young Pauls these days, Even Paul Wall is an old man at this point. So learn to read the room. And that just takes time and experience. All right. Can we do one more question? I'm not going to say your name because it's fine. Hi, Steven. I recently experienced the loss of a loved one, and it's been really challenging to find humor in anything as I navigate through my grief. I understand that laughter can be healing, but it feels distant right now. How do you cope with grief while still allowing yourself to find joy and laughter in life again? This past year, lost an in-law in February, and literally that week I went to the Whiskey Mile for the first time, and I met this guy Sam and became friends with him the week that my in-law passed away, and went there almost every week for a couple months, got to know him, and then he suddenly passed away too, and it was a very, very tough time. But in that, the thing, I've been going to this bar and helping run this open mic since May. Hold on, my dog is just being annoying. We can, we'll cut this real quick. All right, I was going to this. I've been going to this bar almost every week since May, just trying to keep the guy's memory alive, trying to help. What he wanted to do was he really wanted comedy to be over there on the east side, the east side of Seattle, the east side of, Kirkland, Bellevue, Redmond, that whole area. And they do have comedy shows there. There is a guy that puts on some shows at a bar there. And as far as I know, though, we're the only open mic. And it's been up and down. It's been great. It's been a learning process. And the most important thing is everything that I've gained from this guy that passed away. I mean, I only knew him for a couple months, and at this point, everybody that I met through him, I've known 3 or 4 times as long, and they're all just wonderful people. The people who work at the bar, the people who frequent there, Jeff, sound guy, Jordan, or a lot of the comedians that I met through that place. And I traditionally have kept my circle pretty close, pretty tight-knit, pretty small, and didn't really experience a lot of loss at this point in my life. And even though I wasn't really that close with that guy, it affected me quite a deal. It affected me pretty hardcore. Went down a dark path for a minute, and but got through it, and with the support of those people I was talking about, and just continuing on and trying to do this promote this message of laughter and fun and comedy, and that's what we do. That's what we do here on Comedy Simp. So the best advice I could do, or I could say, is deal with it the best that you can. There's no right way to do it. Everybody's different. Everybody's made different. That's what's pretty cool about this world, and that's pretty, that's all I can say. I'm not the greatest speaker when it comes to unprompted questions, so maybe next time I will read these questions ahead of time. But again, if you guys want to ask, you could always send an email to StephenMJComedy@gmail.com. You could follow me on all the socials, Stephen MJ Comedy, and Comedy Voice is going to be tonight, the day that I post this video. So whether I do well or not doesn't really matter. I'm just going down there to perform on a great stage where many of my favorite comedians have performed, and maybe the management will see me, maybe not. I'm going to do whatever I can to leave an impression. But that's all we can do, man. So, Comedy Simp.
Rising up in the comedy scene, he's a force to be reckoned. Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire.